Interesting story. My background is zero public service. I now have 11 months of public service and have enjoyed all 11 months. I worked for, just previous to coming to the state, I worked for First Data, which is a payment card processing company. Prior to that, I worked for TD Ameritrade, of which the governor's family actually founded Ameritrade many years ago. And so really I've been going through just the private industry sector. I've done international work, been always on the infrastructure side of the IT. Had a chance while I was at First Data to actually fill out my resume and do some of the application side. My vision is really to make it much more in line with ITIL principles. We really, at the state of Nebraska, have not put a big emphasis on the structure of incident, problem, change, release management, things of that sort. We're moving in that direction. We're putting a lot more emphasis there. It was kind of overlooked. I think that's really the heart of a company. Whenever we did mergers and acquisitions, I always looked at their help desk, and I found out a lot about the company by how much structure they had at those point of contacts with their customers. Because really the help desk, the desktop support, that's what, when someone comes to your PC, they think that is IT. No one sees the network engineer, no one sees the system admin, no one sees those people behind the scenes. What they see is how fast did they answer my phone call, how quickly did they respond to an incident ticket, and of course, have they eliminated that problem and we never saw it again, right? Which is where that structure, without that, your company's not going to grow and be successful in private industry, and I believe the same thing in public. Oh, I think the biggest thing, and I started at day one, was I took a look at our data center. Our data center was in need of improvement. It's downtown Lincoln, which is not unusual for the data center to be right there near the Capitol. Of course, there's a lot of construction. There's old, architecture, as in buildings themselves, and realized that we were really vulnerable. We had one data center. That was it. So very first, I wanted to shore up that. And so they said, well, we have a DR site. And well, where's that? And it's in Omaha, which is about 45 miles away, which isn't totally geographically separated, but it's good enough for what we want. So what I did was I really said, well, we're not gonna have DR. And this came really from my days at First Data. The last real project I worked on, I had a group of architects that made everything active between our two data centers. So we didn't have DR, at least for our top platforms. So I thought, well, let's look into that for the state. And I actually stumbled across a very efficient model. There's a company in Omaha that actually provides services to the county and the city. So they're public. They had extra space for us. So we actually are having a reciprocating agreement where we put our servers there. We're allowing them to put their servers in Lincoln. And right now, we're not running active, but we're active in Lincoln, hot standby, so we don't really have a DR. Everything is being replicated real time. Not everything, because we haven't gotten everything into our data centers. And then we're gonna flip, because the data center in Omaha is actually nearly a Tier 4 data center. It's a fantastic data center. And so we're gonna flip it. So I went into the governor one day and I said, I hate to even tell you that our data centers may be a Tier 2. We're using a Tier 4 as a DR. And I said, it doesn't sound, I know it doesn't sound good, but we are gonna flip. We're gonna have our main data center at the Tier 4 location. And of course he caught on, the advantage of working for Governor Ricketts is he totally gets technology running TD Ameritrade for so many years. Total consolidation, so there's no servers anywhere outside those two data centers. Consolidation of all infrastructure resources in the office of the CIO, my office. All ITIL processes in place, meaning very strict incident, problem, change, release management processes, a better, more risk-free environment. And that's going to happen by bringing those servers in-house. So everything under one single domain. I'd love to tell you that we have our big data strategy done by then, and I think that's going to help, because by bringing everything in, the data is all within our data center, and we should be able to get a strategy. We're already working that now. So we're kind of piloting with one group. So really, I'd like to say that I would be able to get whatever data you wanted. Our data is secure. Our ability to enact move from one data center to the next flawlessly has been tested and run. So all of those things. And I'd like to say I lowered the cost of doing business. Because one of the things with the chargeback model that I'm in, I think we are charging too much. And so I've targeted certain applications, certain services that we are charging to other agencies, and I've told my staff I want to lower. I don't want to lower the quality, but I want to lower the cost. A lot of that is being paid out in consulting fees, things like that, that we need to just learn ourselves and take over. And hopefully we can lower those prices so that no one can feel like they're not getting what they're paying for. Top priority is always security. I'm always diligent, always concerned. I think paranoid wouldn't be a bad description, especially coming from a credit card processing and then TD Ameritrade, where you're dealing with the SEC and FINRA rules and all of those things. So I think that's always at the top. If no one talks about it or thinks about it daily, then they should. The second is really in an effort to really take care of that first concern, which is security, and second concern, which is cost. And that's bringing everything together. I mean, in private industry, you would never have a company that had 20 data centers, right? Data center consolidation would have been done. And so that's my second goal, consolidation, which will bring security and will bring cost savings, but it'll just make us so much more efficient. And it'll drive the cost down because of the fact that we're seeing duplication, and by bringing that in, we're eliminating that duplication. So not really my big thing of going after all those things at once. It just made sense, but there's a lot of byproducts. So security, consolidation, and cost savings. That would be my third. Not that it's not important to me, I'm not putting it third, but I think that if I do the first two well, the third one's just going to come. I think that's the general outcome of doing those things the way we should be doing them. And I think, and I hate to say it because a lot of people, but running it like a business is going to drive costs out, because everything we do is really should be, as in private industry, looking at how we drive costs down and services up for our customers. Otherwise, we're out of business, or our competitors will outdo us in the marketplace. So I think those are my big three things. I want to be competitive, which sounds kind of strange in the public sector, but I want people to say, wow, you really give me a lot of value for a very low cost. And so that's where I'd love to be next year, is having everyone around saying, yeah, the bills, they're worth paying.